Welcome to Meaningful Morning. On Tuesday nights, I take Shuka to practice to play soccer. He's part of a kids' league. And I'm watching him, and he's around halfway down the field, and then their coach says all of the kids should take a water break. So Shuka is sprinting back towards me, full out. And then as he's getting near me, he falls in the grass hard, finds a leaf, picks up the leaf, starts playing with it, comes to me and drinks his water. And I was thinking to myself, if this was any adult that was running that fast and then fell in front of everyone, first, they would have been whining about how much their body hurts. And then they would have been looking around to see if anybody noticed them fall. More than the physical pain would have been the pain to the ego. But with this 4-year-old, he was more interested in that leaf. And after this practice, and I was driving him home, he told me, I don't like maybe someone he plays with. His name is Victor. And I was like, why, Shuka? Why don't you like Victor? And he goes, he's too victory. That's his description. He's too victor-y. But to him, it makes sense, right? Why do so many big words need to be used to describe his feeling? I share this because a child has a different perspective than a typical adult. In Meaningful Mornings, we're trying to train ourselves not on perspective, but rather vision. But if you can't have a different perspective, you're never going to have the vision that Sri Krishna is trying to share with us, the vision of existence, awareness, joy. We are training ourselves in being open to a different perspective. Yesterday, we celebrated Pujaswami Chinmayananda's Mahasamadhi Aradhana, the day when he chose his body to die. Please chant with me if you know how to chant this. Narayana Samarambham Vyasa Shankara Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. The original guide is Bhagwan Narayana. He expresses as Rishi Vyasa, Rishi Shankara. They express as our Sadguru Shishya Parampara, the guide that we relate to. Pujaswami Chinmayananda was a bhakta of Bhagwan Shiva. He was devoted to him as a child. As you associate, so you think, so you become. I have the faith that he became Bhagwan Shiva. And that's why his mantra, as he began to teach all of us, is Om Namo Narayanaya. Because Bhagwan Shiva is a bhakta of Bhagwan Narayana. Our community, the 1,032 mornings we have been together, is in effect Pujaswami Chinmayananda is the cause. It is on account of his grace that we know each other. If that grace wasn't there, we wouldn't know each other, leave alone have a relationship with each other. Bhagavad Gita chapter 15, Sri Krishna is describing in a visualization how we've fallen from ourselves. I'm going to share this with you in a framework I've shared in the past. And I know you remember this, so I'm only reviewing it from my own mind. Our fall has started with separation. In Sanskrit, avidya. We fall further into smallness. In Sanskrit, vasana, where this print is all I am. The fall continues to sadness. Because I feel small, I feel sad. This is not my nature. In Sanskrit, eshana. Eshana means a desire to come out of sadness. Avidya, vasana, eshana. The separation, smallness, sadness, then the fall continues to stress. This is at the thought level, at the mind level, that is vrittis. The more desires you have, the more thoughts you have. And the final facet of this fall, where we find ourselves, is being stuck. In Sanskrit, karma. The more thoughts you have, the more you have to act on those thoughts. These 5 S's, separation, smallness, sadness, stress, stuckness. Avidya, vasana, eshana, vritti, karma. The Bhagavad Gita does not have a message of despair, but rather a message of hope. In verse 3, Sri Krishna is providing this hope to us. I'm rechanting this. Na rupamasyeha tatopalabhyate nanto na chadir na cha sampratishtha ashvattamenam suviruda moolam asanga shastrena dridena chitva. Joy again. Na rupam, the form of this samsara vriksha, or this illusory tree, iha tata upalabhyate, it's not perceived. Just like you can't touch a rainbow. In the same way, this change that is changing, this compound effect, it's marginally perceivable, but mostly imperceivable. And that's why an objective science, which depends on that which is perceivable, cannot help us to be free of this compound change. It is only a subjective science, a science on that which is imperceivable, that can help us to not have fear. And so the very practical implication from this quarter is reflect. It is through reflecting that we grow from the perceivable to the imperceivable. Then I zoomed into the second quarter. Na anta, no end. Na adi, no beginning. Na sampratishtha, no establishment or no middle. There's no beginning, there's no middle, there's no end to this tree, which means there is no tree. So why fear that which is not? Reflect lots on that. We have all of these relative struggles. But if you are the absolute, why are you trying to fight these relative fires? Third quarter, Ashvattham. This samsara vriksha is compared to an ashvattha, that which will not be there tomorrow. Su virudha mula. This tree has very deep roots. Those who study self-development in a light way, light topics like pranayama, like therapeutic benefits, and so on, It's almost like you are cutting down a weed, but the roots are still there. That weed will temporarily not disrupt your lawn, but the weed is still there, correct? It's going to regrow. Engage in a heavy subject matter, that which is transformative. And all of this is possible asanga shastrena. Shastra means a weapon you hold in your hand. What is this weapon? Asanga, which means detachment or independence. Dridena chitva, and with firmness and courage, cut this illusory tree. The implication for us in this last quarter is practice. What does it mean to use this sword of independence? It means to practice what you know. Same thought in the coming verses. We're now on 4. Tataf padam tat parimargitavyam yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyaha tameva chadyam purusham prapadye yataf pravrittif prasrta purani. Joy. Tataha. Tataha means after you started hacking at this illusory experience. I want to open up tataha more. Tataha means therefore, thereafter. The implication is you've put in hard and smart work. Pujaswami Tejo Mainanda, he's described this independence or vairagya as a sword. In my mind, when I think of a tree, I think of an axe, not a sword. And so Pujaswami Tejo Mainanda shared, this axe has to be constantly sharpened on the stone of viveka. In other words, again, viveka is your insights that this is relative, this will not complete you. Now practice that. Practicing it makes you independent of these articles, beings, circumstances. If you do practice this, tat padam parimargitavyam, your only desire, your only function will be to be free, to be divine. But if you don't have this critical independence, detachment, dispassion, etc., you will want divinity also rather than divinity alone. Yasmin gata, and if this does become your desire, like the gopis for Shri Krishna, yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyaha, you will experience divinity and you will never stop experiencing this. You will never fall again. Pujaswami Tejo Mainanda shared, this is the power of Vedanta. The power of knowing what's inside of you, knowing who you are. And what's so lovely about Vedanta power is you don't have to be powerful to have this power. See, Thanos only became powerful because he had all of these stones, correct? Presidents can escape criminality because they were the president. But with Vedanta power, there's animals who have Vedanta power. Tam eva cha adyam purusham prapadye, with such intensity, we seek the adya purusha. The adya purusha means the original being. The original being, in a gross way, would be existence, but in a more relatable way, it is awareness. In Pujaswami Chinmayananda's writing, he's teaching us that as we experience anything, like I'm experiencing this pencil, it's almost like you have to cut away your attention from the article being circumstance, from the name form quality, and hold on to the awareness. Do you know that every experience you have, before you have the experience of that pencil, there's awareness? Cut away the lower roots and hold on to the original roots. Yataha pravrittihi prasarta purani. It is from this original being that there is any other source of creation. Shri Krishna only puts this line in for us because these are very sublime thoughts. The truth, if you know the original roots, then there is no tree. If I know the roots are infinity, divinity, how can that become relativity? Chapter 15, easy or hard? That's why there's chapter 14. One has to be sattvic to be less limited, to feel limitlessness. Thank you, YouTube, for these recordings. That way we can reflect again and again and again. From inspiration to application. Your application was to check your sadhana. How many of you checked your sadhana? Good. What I was doing in checking my sadhana is, if you are a seeker, and you are reading your private messages, seeing your smiles, you are a seeker. A seeker is one who never despairs, rather is one who is hope-filled, hopeful. In checking your sadhana, if you realize you're not as intense as you should be, then be hope-filled that you will become more intense. Your sadhana for today, I was trying hard to come up with a sadhana. You may not realize this, but I've given you almost 800 applications now. Your application is come up with 800 applications. Let's see you do it. So I solicited help from Sheila. So your application is, I want you to eat without tasting. Eat, you're going to eat many meals today, but eat without the sense of tasting what you're eating. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, awesome. That's why it's called a reflection application. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be joy.